What's up guys, Matt here coming at you with another quick video. So excited about this one. We're finally kind of getting some upgrades from a big name company like Treal for the FCX24. Treal, they do it all. I mean, like, they make so much good stuff for the FCX24. You can see these are all Treal +5 wideners that I use for the FCX24, and I'm getting a pile of them because I'm slowly changing my FCX24s to these FCX axles. And you can kind of see with great power comes great responsibility, right? So definitely got to change the 3D printed wheels out. That's not going to work. But I'm very excited to get these installed. Of course, they're beautiful. It's Treal's black brass. Like, it always looks good. So we're going to take this thing, run it a little bit completely stock. This is 100% stock truck. Besides, I changed one link at one point and never changed the other. I'm going to do that one of these days. And then we're going to install these and kind of do the same thing. I'm going to put this on the incline board as well because I haven't even did that with one of these trucks, honestly. I don't put a lot of weight into that incline board. It's totally different than climbing rocks. So I really don't care usually what they'll do, but we're going to do it just to kind of see what performance gain we get out of these. I know we're going to get a little because especially the rear going downhill, these are very light. And, you know, just a little bit of weight in the rear, I feel like on these is really going to make a big difference. There's a lot of weight up high, stock, this body, fenders, all that. So this extra weight down low is going to be really good. And I don't feel like with this truck, like, they give us a good enough motor that adding this weight's not going to hurt anything right off the bat. You know, the FCX24s, you go adding this up to those and you start killing motors, start adding much weight, and you just don't have the power. So you may kind of notice the extra weight with our steering just because this link is kind of weak. You guys know that. I have a fix for that we're going to talk about in another video. So until an upgrade comes for that, we'll make do. But let's see what this thing can do as is, and then we will get these beautiful weights installed and see what happens. All right, so stock truck on the incline board here, 53. It can't quite get this, or it wasn't. We'll see. Maybe, yeah, it is going to get it this time. You can see though, it is just almost tipping, and if you don't hit it just right, it will. So 53 is really the max it can get. I've tried more and it just won't hardly do it. All right, so we're going to try to go up this hill and then back down it. This is one of the bigger hills on the course. And it does it pretty well. Now coming down is where we really notice we need the weight in the rear end. So I think that will make a big difference. This truck does pretty dang good being stock though. Okay, I'm driving one-handed, so that's part of that problem, but you can also see it needs weight in the rear. I mean, I can't even ease off of that and it's flipping. Now this is a spot where, like, this stock controller is pretty handy because you could turn your drag brake off here and it would just let it free coast. But you can see it's just not really going to do it like that. Let's try turning this off. All right, so now we have our drag brake off. Let's see if it'll just kind of lightly roll down this hill. See, it's still not going to do it. So let's get these weights installed and see if that helps us come down that hill. You can come down it, you just have to throttle and, you know, kind of jump your way down it. But I feel like with some weight in the rear, we're gonna make that. So this thing weighs right about 19 grams each. So that's on each corner. So 18, 19. So we're gonna be adding like 38, almost 40 grams. All right, so these are a very simple install. You're gonna need your wheel wrench and your 1.5. Okay, so you wanna put your bearing in, install your axle from the outside coming in like that, because you want that bevel on the outside. And then put your pin back in. This will probably be the hardest part of it. Some of these little tweezers have been one of the best tools I have picked up. You can see my bearing is on the end here. That one needs to go in here. You just want to make sure you get all your bearings in there, because they have a habit of sticking in your covers and you forget them. I still do it. So look at that. Such a nice fit. I like how they did, you know, a little bit around the bottom there. This is going to be, your wheel's going to kind of be around that, so it's not like an extra hang up really. Just able to get a little extra weight there. Okay, I gave in. I'm gonna go ahead and put the metal gears in here because, you know, as I was doing this, I kind of thought, well, that's dumb. Like, why I have to take all this apart again at some point when the gears fail? I have the metal gears. Why not just go ahead and do it now? I was gonna leave this truck stock gears as long as I could, but what's the point? We know they're gonna fail eventually. All right, so I was kind of curious what this is going to do to our width. So we have a stock axle here, and then the one with the covers on here, and basically we gained a little at the top is what it looks like. So that's tight there, 90.8. So basically 91, 90.75, whatever, somewhere in there. You'll see here, we gained a little, right? We are basically 89.9 or 8.7. So we gained about a millimeter at the top, but we did lose some down here. So we're 95 towards the bottom, and on your stock you're nowhere near that. So we're right around the 90 mark. So that is not a huge deal for most wheels. Like these Treal, of course they make them work with their wheels, so you can see they have a large enough inner diameter that you're gonna clear. So that's kind of smart. You know, most of your wheels are larger. Yeah, of course, in here they're 1.0 wheels. So the issue is when you're trying to run like some Injoras, you guys know they have kind of the smaller inner diameter. I think you can see that. They are gonna hit. They're gonna rub. So we're gonna need to space these out a little bit. And that's where I've seen a lot of people asking, you know, what to use there. I just use something like these, and you just have to drill this out. You have to drill this out to fit. So you have to drill that out, which may be more than some people want to deal with, but it's kind of what we got for now. Okay, just so you guys can see a couple different wheels on these. Obviously, these fit just fine. These are the Treal Type Bs underneath there with a Maz design ring on there. Those fit fine. These mofos will work great. I have the 0 offset mounted on these, so they are gonna rub at the moment. But there's lots of options. You can get +3 or +6 hex or hubs for those, and you won't have any problem. So you could easily just do the +3, I would think. That's gonna push that wheel off of there. Really good option, plus they look sick. So lots of different ring choices as well, so that's an option. The stamped steel wheels mounted just like that are gonna work perfect, so that's cool. The main issue with these wheels is just your wheel nut. You guys know I always toss a bearing or a bushing down in there so that the wheel nut don't go all the way down in there, because it's hard to get a tool on there. But those will work. And then obviously if you flip that hex and run those deep dish style, you're not gonna have any problem, which is basically what you're gonna do with these mofo wheels. You're gonna have that hex sticking out with like your +3 or 6. So those give you a little bit of adjustment. You can go the width you want. The hard park crawler wheels are the same. Those you can flip them, mount them deep dish, so they'll work also. I'm not sure about those in the standard mounting position. I haven't tried that, but at least if you get them, you can always flip them. Real quick, if you guys are like me, I just lost the wheel nut. I always do. These work great. I'll link them in the description. Just get you a bag. They're super cheap, like $5-6, and you got plenty of spares, because we know how they are. When you drop one, they're gone. Okay, I want to try this with just the rear, because a lot of people may just want to put these on the rear. We know out of the box this thing needs some weight in the back, and these sell for $20 for 2. So maybe you can only afford 2, maybe you only want to get 2, so you may want to know how this does. And I feel like if you're only going to buy 2, you may want to do the rear, just because there's not a real good way to get weight in the rear any other way. This is setting at our 53. So we're setting at our 53 still. And it's doing it. I'm just going off the side. I should have made this ramp a little wider, huh? These trucks just keep getting wider and wider, and it gets harder to make it up this. I think having that weight in the rear, it's kind of going to hurt you trying to pull yourself up things when you don't have that weight in the front also. But it is doing the 53. And now it does nothing. Good thing is when it fell, look, the stock link popped off, not my 3D printed one. All right, so you can definitely feel the weight that we've added to this thing, 100%. And I wanted to do this climb one more time just to make sure we didn't hurt our uphill by just doing the rear. Honestly, it feels like we may have, because now you're trying to pull more weight uphill and you don't have the added weight in the front holding us down. See, it's really not wanting to do this. And I'm trying to do it like I normally do. So I normally go, see right there, it's just not grabbing the front, and we're pulling too far over. So honestly, I don't know if I would recommend really just doing the rear. And maybe with more testing we would find that it was fine. This is just a quick kind of assessment here. You can see right there's where it normally, okay, so it finally did grab. It had a little more trouble grabbing that like it usually does though, because it had that extra weight in the rear. Now with some better tires maybe, and my non-driving finger, it would be fine. See there, it's just like it don't want to bite in the front as well now, because it's having to pull that extra 40 grams, basically 38, whatever you want to call it. It did make it, but I'll be honest with you, it wasn't near as easy as before. Now here's where we want to see our improvement, hopefully. Adding that weight to the rear. Is that going to help us ease down this? See that? Totally just held that rear end. Now this part right here, you almost can't make this at all without gunning it a little. See? So I feel like it's going to help us, but it's not going to make that difference. There's nothing that's going to hold that rear end down on this, because that is just a big drop. If you can see this angle right here. So you almost always have to gun that a little and make your way down. So I didn't really do it very well there, but we made it. So that definitely helped us up here. I'm pretty sure you could see that very easily. So let's throw the fronts on and see how we do. All right, so we're gonna start at our 53. Yeah, 53 with all 4 weights installed here. We got that pretty easily now. Maybe a slight improvement. You guys probably can't see, but this wheel's not lifting. It was lifting a little more completely stock than it is now. That wheel is actually still touching, so probably help that just a little bit. I don't know that we're really going to gain much, but it did help it a tiny bit. Let's try like 53.5 there. I tried this earlier and it just wouldn't do it. So you can see now it's kind of doing it, but that's where it's lifting the front. That right front is off of the board. So we are getting this half a degree difference basically. You may get lucky and get a degree. But where it's really going to help is in the rear going downhill. So, you know, somebody's going to say I probably should have tested going downhill on the ramp, but honestly, the hill on the course is really the perfect descend. So 47.2 right there, we're starting to lift this back corner. You can see it's kind of going to struggle, which I feel like is much better than it was stock. So, but anyways, we'll go run the course again and check those climbs out. So I'm really curious to see going up this hill if it seems like the front bites a little better than it did earlier with just the rears. And you can see, I'm pretty sure right there, it seemed like that front was really grabbing better, staying down, because it also has the weight now. It's not just dragging more weight in the rear. It has a little helping hold it down. So this is going much better than earlier. Yeah, that went really well. So let's try going down now. It almost dropped on me, but you can see that rear end stayed a little more planted. And this is the really tough spot here. So we made it. All right, guys, so there's a million different ways you can get the weight how you want it, right? But these portal covers are a really good way for 20 bucks. You know, if you want to toss a little weight to the rear, it's something that goes on that you don't really even notice. You know, you can always put like a wheel weight inside of a wheel like this, but you know, then you kind of have mismatched looking wheels. You could do front and rear, but you're not gaining as much weight out of one of these as you are this cover. I don't remember exactly what those weigh, but they're like 10 or 12 grams, I think, or something. Anyways, and this is just something that you don't even really notice, especially most wheels are going to kind of cover this little lip that we have showing here. So that won't be a hang up or anything. Just a great option. Really excited to see the aftermarket coming on board with this truck. You know, you can always drill out something like these, whatever. I feel like it's not going to be long until we have our own options for this truck and we can stop drilling and doing this and that. So you guys let me know what you think. For a stock truck, I would just do all four, honestly. That's my thoughts. Take it or leave it. All right. I appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell. Peace.